Let's go to CS in Florida. The call-in line is 888-201-2244. That's 888-201-2244. CS, you're on.
Yeah, hey, Jason. I just wanted to thank you for your service to the nation. And I wanted to start a natural medicine products business, promoting like My Solar Backup, Midas Resources, eFoods Direct, etc. The same ones that Alex promotes. But the thing is, I don't trust like GoDaddy and, you know, the big web hosting conglomerates.
So then just go through a local ISP. I'm going to tell you right now, it's not going to matter whether you go through GoDaddy or you go through Time Warner for a page or you go through the local ISP Joe Schmo. All of them are routed through the National Security Agency and Norris Insight systems. We go over this again in my upcoming film. That's why my upcoming film is so important. It is really a broad spectrum of the New World Order. It's not just a history lesson on the term. It's not just a history lesson on the organizations. It's what's happening right now and what their command and control program is. Honestly, CS, I would suggest you go take the smallest amount of money to put one of these websites up. If GoDaddy's only charging $12.99, go with GoDaddy. You shouldn't be worried about the server. What you should be worried about are the services. In other words, are they going to be able to support the bandwidth that you would like to achieve? So I wouldn't get all concerned going through a mainline thing. Look, we are in a society where we are tracked, traced, and databased daily through our cell phones, through our emails, through our phone conversations, through what we search on the internet. It's a top headline today out of Yahoo that for the past 15 years, the #1 search term is none other than September 11th, folks. That's why 9/11 Truth is still important. That's why they're attacking 9/11 Truth. It's the most Googled. It's the most searched. It's the most researched out there. 9/11 Truth films have been in the living rooms of hundreds of millions of people across the world, if not billions. If not billions. And that's why we're being targeted. Appreciate the call, CS. Oh, before we go back to callers, I want to hit some of the headlines here. Drone makes first UK arrest as police catch car thief hiding under bushes. And if we could find this headline, guys, I'd like to show them the diagram over at prisonplanet.tv. It has been nicknamed the Flying Saucepan. And it looks like an unlikely weapon in the war against crime. Actually, it looks like a modern weapon in the war against the people. This looks like something out of They Live. And, of course, the drones that they're using outside of the UK and in Afghanistan and Iraq, Pakistan, are much more sophisticated and armed with actual missiles to kill people. This is the first step in acclimation. Getting you used to the fact that the police are now wearing electronic visors on their, like VR visors, again, check this out over at prisonplanet.tv, and controlling pod-like drones. And these drones right now are only being used to catch criminals. Oh, we're just catching criminals. We're just looking on you and spying on you and have mobile CCTV camera capabilities. But when we go overseas, it's much more. The drones are judge, jury, and executioner. And if they can't get the kid, the 18-year-old kid in a room to hit the button on the Xbox controller that fires the missile, they just take that controller out and put it in for themselves, and they hit the button. They'll always be able to find somebody to hit those buttons to kill civilians. So all these people talking about an armed insurrection, it's a joke. Try an armed insurrection against an enemy 20,000 feet in the air. It doesn't happen. And again, we may not see this in the United States today, but we will see it tomorrow. In the next 2 to 3 years, I can see us having these drone programs right here in the U.S. When they're in the U.K., when they're being beta tested by the being beta tested by the Anglo-American Empire on its servants, on its serfs, it's bound to come to this country. It's all fun and games that our troops are over in Afghanistan biometrically scanning all thumbs, all irises, databasing Middle Eastern people. That's okay. Oh, it's just the brown people, Jason. But will we even raise our voices? Will we raise our fists when it's us? I doubt it. And this intertwines with that skateboarding story that Alex wrapped up with on the program. It's out of Poway, San Diego, nctimes.com. Now, apparently, if you want to skateboard, if you want to go to your public park in San Diego, you have to give up your biometric thumbprint because you're guilty until proven innocent. You're not allowed to skateboard in the sunshine as your God-given human right anymore. You have to give up your biometric data like a slave. You have to register with the all-important state, Ziegel, to skateboard. And will you take the chip when it means your job? You probably will, because you'll be acclimated just like this. You're already ready to give up your thumbprint to skateboard. You'll be ready to give up your thumbprint for a job. When the next video game systems hit and they say, hey, a chip in your hand is going to be really cool, you'll be able to control everything with your mind, people will take it in droves. So 5-10 years after that, it won't be such a stretch when the government says you have to take a chip if you want Social Security, if you want health care, if you want to vote. And that's why we have to remain ever alert, ever vigilant. And there are no silver bullets, folks. If we want to live in a better place, in a more humane world, in a place we would be proud to show our grandchildren, well, we've got to fight hard every single day against evil because it keeps sprouting its ugly head in all directions. We'll be back after this. It's the InfoWarrior with Jason Burmis. PrisonPlanet.tv, Infowars.com, 888-201-2244. Invisible Empire, a new world order defined. You'll be able to pre-order that sometime this week, maybe even as early as tomorrow. And, of course, the release date is April 15th, 2010. Super psyched to release this film to the world. Taking your calls, 888-201-2244. Let's wrap up this segment with a big news blitz. Army faces Afghan gag for election. The Ministry of Defense, and this is out of the UK, by the way, has been accused of ordering a truth blackout over the war in Afghanistan amid warnings it is attempting to bury bad news during the election campaign. Well, there's not much good news coming out of the Middle East right now, is there? All the news seems to deal with Karzai's brother being a large opium dealer, being supported by the CIA for over 8 years, transcending administrations, going from the Bush administration into the Barack Obama administration. And remember, the plan is to stay in the Middle East. All that anti-war rhetoric that you fell for while Obama was campaigning was just that laughable rhetoric that had no basis at all. No basis in reality whatsoever. They laugh at you and giggle as they tell you, oh, we're going to have a troop drawdown. We're going to be out of Iraq by 2012. You watch, we're out of Iraq by 2012. By December of 2011, we'll only have 50,000 non-combat troops in Iraq. And if you believe that, I also have a bridge to sell you out in New Zealand. It's a lovely property. You get the bridge. You get, 200 acres with it. Dirt cheap. Contact me. Because when they tell you 50,000 non-combat troops, there's no such thing as a non-combat troop. And that's really to ease you into the idea of staying in Iraq forever, because I guarantee at the end of 2011, in December, there's going to be more than 50,000 troops there. And the way that they can maintain those troops in the Middle East and even expand on that is through a little thing called false flag terror and false flag operations. And we have, of course, have been seeing more and more of those throughout the years. Not so much on the Western Front anymore. After the 7/7 bombings, I think they were scared to pull off a large-scale intelligence operation like a 9/11, like a 7/7, somewhere in the United States or the United Kingdom. But we have seen smaller level ones, such as what happened in Mumbai, where they had CIA cell phones, and it came out through the Pakistani intelligence service, actually, that yes, the lead guy was a rogue CIA agent. See, they're always rogue. They always have these levels of plausible deniability, and they're setting that up right now with the Cybersecurity Act. How do they set it up through the Cybersecurity Act? Well, what we're going to do is we're going to take a bunch of nonprofits and we're going to fund them as we take over all the infrastructure of all of the networks. And we're going to go into the public sector and the private sector and the local government sector. And we're going to go into your schools and we're going to recruit kindergartners through 12th graders. And then if we're ever caught doing anything illegal, we'll just blame it on one of the actual students that was interning or one of the foundations that we funded. And we'll act like we didn't know anything happened at all. Meanwhile, everything is being databased by the National Security Agency as we speak. That and much more on the other side. It's the InfoWarrior with Jason Burmis, PrisonPlan.tv, Infowars.com.